Oh. What's up guys, it's Vinny and today I'm going to show you
11 ways to use your Banshee pedal.
The first tone example I have is boosting a high gain tone with the fuzz in here. So the fuzz is a blend so you can keep your original tone but still add some I had the dissonance and the octave down and the square wave at about halfway, and it really beefs up this high gain tone for chug. You can really hear it, almost making like a synthy sound. Check this out. Second tone example I had was the dissonance and octave knobs were still down, but I had the fuzz maxed out going into a clean amp. The nature of the fuzz, as Sean says, it is very gated and sputtery. In this example, I'm also doing a little on the guitar. With the fuzz, it makes it sound very like crushed and almost like synthy. Check it out. So for the third example, I had the same knob settings, but I also added a sub octave because the octave on here is upper octave, it's not a lower octave. But when you add that with the fuzz, it just sounds super gnarly, like really thick and sputtery and very spitty, zippery, gloopy. Works great for like nu metal tones. That's kind of the vibe that I went with for this example, so check it out. For sound example 4, I had it going into a clean amp. I had the octave up and a little bit of fuzz, almost about halfway, and it was going into a BD2 in the quad cortex, or like a Boss Blues driver. I did that just for like a little extra gain. If you do like little plucks, you know, it sounds almost like a synth, which I would say is perfect for kind of like pop style music, indie style music. So don't let the blood fool you. Could be ketchup if you think about it. I know indie bands like ketchup probably. That was a dumb line. I'm gonna get fired. But yeah, using the octave with clean guitar and little plucks, it creates a really cool synth sound. So check this one out. For the fifth example, I had basically the same setup, but I had the octave and the fuzz maxed out. And I did it for like a pop solo, kind of like 1975, like the sound, you know, like it almost sounds like a whammy, but it's, since you're using the high octave, you know, like the second octave up, I think it sounds really cool. The sixth way to use your Banshee. I had the same exact settings as the pop solo, but I did these little scrapies on the guitar, and it sounded like a industrial synth. It sounded really cool. Kind of like gave me the vibe of like that one Orthodox song, I think it's called Sacred Place. Kind of like in that vein, like the beginning, like used for like a cool intro or like a cool transition, not just a riff. Give that a shot if you have the Banshee. Try using it for transitions and stuff, it's really cool. And for that example, I was using the +1 octave. So for number 7, similar settings as before, but I used the +2 octave, and I did the scrapies a lot higher on the fretboard and on the higher strings. Just had a very gloopy, very glorpy, sploopy sound. It almost sounded like a meme, but you know what? I thought it was cool, so that's an example of using it more like another texture style synth, like, you know, like a rhythm, a little rhythm in the background. So check out this sploopy beat. For number 8, I had all of the knobs down except for like a tiny bit of fuzz, and I had the speed knob cranked because I'm using the chop for cool like texture in the background. They're just playing one note, and obviously you could do like an octave with it too. to make it sound even more like a synth if you wanted. But for this one, I just did a bit more of like a texture in the background behind like a riff. So check this out, it's pretty cool. This ninth one, I literally just had the octave up, all the way up with the +2 setting. Once again, for like another synthy tone. I was playing around with clean tones and I thought this would be super sick for like indie or pop style stuff. So I did this cool riff with just the octave and it sounded awesome. For number 10, I had all the knobs at noon. Basically used this as more like a Korn style, like lead, just like that really like spooky kind of style, spooky like out of tune kind of style riff. So it really makes the lead like pop out instead of just like your regular guitar. And for the last one, the most popular way to use the Banshee, I was using it on the momentary setting. I feel like a lot of people would use this pedal more just for like adding crazy stuff to riffs, you know, like little, just like random little pop-ins just to spice up the riff. So you're doing less work, all you have to do is just press a foot switch and it does all the work making crazy sounds. And then combining that with the chopping effect in certain spots to really make people go, ooh, what the hell was that? You hear the chopping effect, people are like, fuck, what was that? That was sick. If there's any other ways that you like to use the Banshee, let us know in the comments. Send us videos online. We'd love to see it. We'd love to share it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.